Hello, everyone. I am delighted to be here with Ameen Nayfehm, director of 200 Meters, joining us today from Tulkarem, which I believe is the city where your film is set. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And hello, everyone.
Very good. As I was just saying to you, this is my first Q&A of the festival, my first Zoom Q&A. And one of the things that I'm really curious about is what it has been like to launch a film in the past year. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, actually, I was very lucky that the release of my film, the first premiere, was in the Venice Film Festival, which luckily had a physical screening.
Right.
Yeah, and I was lucky also that I made it magically. I made it to Italy, and I was there
Fantastic.
to witness the first screening. But it was also my first time to watch my film on a cinema screen and to hear the sound mix, because we did the post-production on Zoom calls and I was watching it on my laptop.
Wow.
So it was my first, I was like the audience. It was the first time that I see it, like, with a cinematic experience.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Was it okay? Were you happy with the sound mix?
I had some notes.
Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough.
Yes. But after that,
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, but after that, I was also lucky to go to Egypt with its like Middle East premiere.
Okay.
And then it was an online. It was an online live for the film and for me.
Okay.
And it has been, it is very nice, of course, that the film is being is reaching people. But for me, it's like missing the interaction with audience after the film is finished, and the real Q&A is really like an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. All right, well, so this, as I understand, was your first film, your first feature, and especially for a first film, I have to say the cast was remarkable. I'm thinking, of course, especially of Ali Suleiman, who is really the heart and soul of this film, I think. And I'm just curious what it was like for you as a new director, first-time director, working with one of the most, important Palestinian actors of our time. No pressure.
Yeah, actually, when I started writing the script, I was seeing Ali Suleiman as the lead.
Okay.
And it kept on like that. I was like, Ali Suleiman was Mustafa in my film. And and actually thinking of him while writing really helped me a lot. But of course, when the time, when the production time was approaching, I was getting more worried and more, because I didn't know him in person. Okay. But then finally, when we met, he's a very humble man. He's very nice and very supportive. And I think one thing that really helped me that gave me more confidence is that I edited a short film that Ali did. He was the lead actor in that short film. And I was there. The short film is called Five Boys and a Wheel.
Okay.
And it was also for a first-time director. So, I had a chance to speak with the director and to ask him about how was it to work with Ali.
Sure.
And I had the material that I saw Ali before the action and after the cut, and his performance in the 9 takes. How does he react? How does he? So I studied him thoroughly, and I was, of course, more confident that this is the right person to work with, and he really added a lot to the story. And of course, he has all this international experience, and he really helped me. He was also not just the main actor, but also like kind of a mentor to me.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that seems kind of ideal. Was it a complicated, you said you didn't know him at the beginning. Was it a complicated process to cast him, to get him involved?
Actually, because when he knew about the story from before and he was interested in it, but when he finally read the script I received the phone call that I was dreaming of, and we spoke for 1 hour.
Oh
We
my God.
spoke for, yeah, and he was so happy with the script and like saying that it has a great potential, and he's really like looking forward to work on it. And like he really wanted to do this film because it has been a while since he did a Palestinian film.
Yeah, his career is really quite broad at this point.
Yes,
Well, that seems kind of like an ideal situation, I have to say.
I was very lucky.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about where you filmed, because I have to say, as I was watching the film, I was thinking about the shoot, and especially when you, in the scenes at the wall, say, or at the checkpoints, I was curious, like, did you encounter any of the same problems that your characters do?
Yes, so about the shooting locations, all the locations in the film are real locations. Like, and it was a necessity for me to have these images in the film
Mm,
because this is this is the universe of the story, and it is essential to reflect what the obstacles look like.
mhm.
I thought that we had the budget, or maybe we will have the budget to build what I was fantasizing about, but it was not possible. So we had to use what is available, and there are so many checkpoints and watchtowers and yeah. So we had a
You
plan
had
to
a
shoot.
wide choice, lots of
Exactly.
options.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
the production design is there, why not use it? But of course, you cannot get shooting permits for these locations because it is a military
Mhm.
uh, controlled area. So we had a plan to be in small crews. There is not a real danger, but if you got controlled, you might lose the camera or the shooting, like the memory cards. And
Mhm.
we were afraid that the foreign crew members who were with us, that they might be questioned or detained, or so that was our like most scary thing. But
Sure.
fortunately, we did our plan worked, and we shot in the real locations with the small crews, with the small units, and I got what I wanted. But of course, if there was a shooting permit, I would have worked maybe differently. But this is how we did it.
Yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense. But what about the scene where Mustafa is actually stopped at the checkpoint? How did you shoot that?
Which checkpoint? Because there is
Oh,
more than one.
right, right. I'm sorry. Where the official takes his
His,
card.
his
His,
car. Yes, yes. So this was a built set. The
oh,
exterior of this checkpoint is a real one,
okay.
where you see thousands of Palestinian workers going to the checkpoint at night, which was three in the morning. We shot this sequence as a documentary. Ali Suleiman infiltrated between the people, and the cinematographer was following him
Wow.
to capture these real moments, because you cannot recreate this unless you had a huge budget.
Right.
And then the interior part of the checkpoint, it was a built set. Yeah, this is
Okay.
the only thing that we built.
Okay. Wow,
Yeah,
you managed that transition really well, I have to say.
yeah.
From the external shots to the internal shots, I wouldn't have realized it was a set. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, so one of the things that I found especially interesting about your film is that you show, I think, the impact of the occupation on the Palestinians among themselves. Uh, everyone in that everyone is trying to survive, and that may mean smugglers charging exorbitant fees, or the gang that protects its part of the wall, or even Mustafa trying to get Rami to continue with their journey, it's like a whole economy, and a harsh one, has sprung up out of necessity. And that's something that I haven't seen so much of in films from Palestine. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, the initial idea of making this film was to reflect a real representation of how I see Palestine today, and,
Mm-hmm.
and how is that related to the wall, and like what are the narratives that is happening around the wall, because the wall was my main antagonist, if you might say.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I don't want to portray the Palestinian people as angels, or as, you know, like as the victims who are suffering always, and like we want always to empathize with them. But you know, we are human beings. You know, there is this injustice that is happening, but at the same time, some people are taking this injustice into their benefit, and you know, exploiting others, which is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe also what I showed in the film is also maybe a representation of the political situation in Palestine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Certainly.
Yeah.
Speaking of the complexity of your characters, I also wanted to ask you about Anne, um, the German photographer, who at first seems like kind of a familiar type, the like oblivious Westerner who's, you know, who might think she's doing good, but is actually just kind of making life harder for everybody. But then that character also becomes somewhat more complex, without giving away more than you want to. Can you say a bit about what you were trying to achieve there?
Yes, actually, when I started thinking of this character, the initial idea was that I needed a foreign voice in the journey to ask certain questions that I needed to explain to the foreign audience.
Got it.
That was the initial idea. But then as I was reworking on this character, I discovered that she has more to give. You know, like she has more like interesting layers into the story. Like one example is how the Palestinian group are reacting to her
Mm-hmm.
based on her background.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, are you from there? Okay. Are you from there? Oh no. Are you from there? Oh, okay. You know,
Okay.
and this is also like a real representation of how things are. And yeah, but also like she as a foreigner, how she sees things, and sometimes naive, sometimes helpful, sometimes she comes with maybe a goodwill, but she is the greatest obstacle to the group, you know. So yeah, I wanted to play with these players.
Okay, that makes sense. Um, so I would like to close today by bringing us back to the pandemic, because I have the impression from filmmakers that I've spoken with that while this has been a really difficult time to launch a film, that in some ways it's been a good time for writing and development. I am curious about what you might be working on now, and what your experience has been like.
Well, actually, actually, I didn't have the luxury yet because when the pandemic started, I was still working on the post-production of 200 meters.
Oh, okay. Okay, right.
And then I traveled with it, and I got stuck outside my country. Then I came back
Okay.
recently.
Okay.
But recently I am writing. I am developing my next project, and I finished the treatment, and hopefully would finish the first draft soon.
Okay.
And it is a story taking place in Jordan, not Palestine. And it's not a political story this time. It's more of a family drama.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that actually maybe prompts one last question from me, because it's interesting to hear you say that this new film won't be a political film, because I felt that there were politics, of course, in this film, in 200 Meters, right?
Yeah.
And it is also a family drama. Um, is the balance shifted in your new film? Is that what makes it different?
No, I think it's because I was asked by, even when I was writing and developing 200 Meters, I had lots of feedback from Palestinian filmmakers and also from European or foreign filmmakers that I met in workshops or in co-production markets. Why do we need another Palestinian story about the occupation? So I was asked this question many times, and sometimes I didn't know how to answer it. Well, I think that there are many stories in Palestine that should be told. I told the story that I know best. You know, this is the story that I really know, and I know how to tell. And I was lucky that I had the chance to tell it. And now I don't want to use the Palestinian case to promote myself as a filmmaker. You know, there are so many stories to tell, not just about Palestine, although I advocate that we should tell more stories from Palestine. But as I said, the story that I know, I have told it. I know I need to find something new and different to make my next film in Palestine.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for taking this time to talk with us from across the world. We really appreciate it and appreciate your sharing your film with us. And we look forward to seeing you back with the next one.
Thank you, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.